Hi everybody, I hope you're all doing well, and I hope everybody's having a great new year so far. I wanted to make a video with my experience with Kratom. Where do I start? It has been a journey. I am still an advocate for Kratom. I love it. I think it's amazing for medicinal purposes only, but of course, just like drinking, I started to abuse it very heavily. So I'm going to start from the beginning. I was introduced to Kratom. I was doing a bunch of research for alternatives. I'm very into plant medicine. As if you haven't seen my videos before, I'm a huge advocate for psychedelic mushrooms for anxiety and depression, as well as addiction. You know, plant medicines are gaining this huge popularity now, which I think is amazing because fuck big pharma. I can go on and on and on for days and hours about how fucked big pharma is. When I quit drinking October 8th of 2017, I did so much research in resorting to that because when I started drinking when I was 12 years old, shortly after my mom died, I drank for the first time. I got drunk for the first time, and it was one of the best feelings ever. It got me hooked like that. So I never dealt with my emotions ever since she died. I never dealt with her death either. It was very, very traumatic for me. And shortly after, I had a bunch of other family members. My cousin committed suicide. My grandma died. My uncle died. And death has just surrounded me my whole entire life. That's all I've ever known. And in 2017, I sound like a broken record, but I will always say that is the year that changed me. And so I was searching the internet I wanted something. I didn't want to go on pharmaceuticals, but I wanted to heal myself. And I started microdosing psychedelic mushrooms, which was amazing, but also I wanted something for my daily anxiety, those alcohol cravings, which just would not go away at all. So I started taking Kratom shortly after I quit drinking, to go out to bars, to shows. Going to punk shows is something that I've been doing since I was 12, and going to punk shows and drinking ever since I was 12. So I started taking Kratom to go to shows, to go to bars and stuff. And then shortly after, I started taking it every single weekend and be like, oh, it's my Friday. I worked all week. I worked my ass off, went to the gym 5 days a week this week. I deserve to relax, kick back. And Kratom scratched that itch for me, craving a drink of alcohol to get fucked up. Even though Kratom doesn't intoxicate you like that, it's just this blissful, everything just kind of melts away, all the stress and anxiety and depression, and you just feel really good. It is used, a lot of people who are getting off opiates use it because it hits those opioid receptors, which I never got into pills or heroin or anything like that. Thankfully, my heart seriously goes out to people who have walked down that dark path, because that I cannot even imagine. And I actually lost a good friend to a heroin overdose in 2017. So yeah, it's fucked up. And pills, because doctors write them like crazy. I started taking Kratom, on the weekends, and then everything was fine. I was functioning. I would still get really bad anxiety before going to shows, so I'd kind of convince myself out of it, which sucks because that's something that I love doing, but I would just get such bad anxiety and be triggered to want to drink, to get fucked up. So this year, I'm definitely working on that. I'm going to just force myself to go, and it doesn't I don't need to get fucked up. I took time away to work on myself, that I don't want people to think that I'm better than them or that I don't like them anymore. It's just the fact that, hey, I was really fucking depressed and suicidal. And if I didn't do what I did then, I wouldn't be here today. And that's been a very, very, very hard thing for me, because punk has been such a huge thing in my life. I love punk. I'll always be a punk, but there's more to punk than just going to shows every single weekend and getting fucked up. I want to be one of those people in the punk scene that's, you know, got their shit together, got their life together, and I am there to help people and say, hey, you know, you can be a punk and not be completely fucking overwhelmed with depression and anxiety and not talk about your problems. Talk about your problems. Talk about your feelings. This is how people end up dead. You know, people just hide their feelings and hide their emotions with drinks, drugs, partying constantly. Makes me fucking sad. You know, social media has done such good yet such damage, because social media is toxic as fuck, but it all depends on how you use it. You know, it's so easy to get sucked into scrolling through, you know, pictures and videos of people out doing things and partying, and then you kind of look at your life and you say, oh, well, my life sucks, or I want to be doing that, I want to be doing that, I want to be on vacation, it's not fair, I want to go to this fest, I want to go to that fest, but focus on you, you know? Anyways, that's my rant. Kratom. I'd come home from work and I'd start feeling kind of like nasally drip in the back of my throat at about 3 o'clock, which is when I usually get off work and go home, take Kratom, take Layla to the dog park, meet Ryan there, and I would do that, come home, go to the gym, come home from the gym and take some more and then go to sleep. And I started noticing that it was really hard for me to wake up in the morning, and I just couldn't wake up. It was super hard, kind of like feeling hungover, like that foggy mentality. It just sucked, and I was wondering if it was the Kratom, but I wasn't too sure. I tried a couple times to quit. It sucked so bad over the summer trying to quit. So then I went all summer taking it, and it was fine. I didn't really notice anything, but then my dad started having health issues in August, I think it was. I got up to taking 25 grams a day, every single day, and it got so bad to the point where, because I was getting a lot of anxiety, because I mean, I was doing a lot of stuff during the summer. I was still functioning and everything, but I was pretty much a zombie with emotions. You know, I would get really bad anxiety because I'd want to go to a show, but then I get such bad anxiety, so I'd take Kratom, but it wouldn't get rid of my anxiety, so I'd take more and then I'd feel like a zombie, and I didn't want to be around people because I would take the red strain, which is more sedating. And while it did help with my anxiety and depression, I wasn't really getting a lot done. It would, like I said, it would kind of turn me into a zombie, and I would function. I'd go to work, I would go to the gym, I'd take care of Layla, you know, take her to the dog park, do walks, go on walks with her every day. But it got to the point where I was like, fuck, man, on the weekends, I mean, I have my group of friends that I hang out with on the weekends, but there would be some days where I'd be so exhausted that I couldn't even get off the couch, and that would send me spiraling because I'm a very social person. I love being around my friends and, you know, talking to people at work, but it was just getting really dark and depressing, and so I was taking more and more and more, and I kind of stopped taking care of myself. I wasn't really eating. I wouldn't eat all day so I could get fucked up on Kratom, and that is just not healthy at all. And I knew that I needed to stop and I needed to make a change, because this isn't, I walked that path being such a slave to a substance with alcohol for almost 12 years. You know, I couldn't stop, even though alcohol is completely different than Kratom. Like, that is a drug that is, people fucking die all the time. It ruins people's lives. Like, Kratom, you're not gonna fucking get a DUI. It's not intoxicating like that. And I'm not here to bash it or anything at all, but I am just explaining my experience with it. So getting to the holidays make me really depressed. I was taking more and more and more, of course, during the holidays, and it would get to the point in December, cue seasonal depression, it was kicking in big time. And I would just take Kratom on my weekends and I would just pass out on the couch. I would take so much that I'd feel really dopey and I would just fall asleep. And it was fucking dark. It was really dark and it was very depressing. And I was doing that every single weekend almost. Wasn't really hanging out with my friends. I would just get really bad anxiety and just kind of flake out, which if some of them are watching this, I'm sorry. I'm coming out with it now and it sucks. Only my best friend knows about this experience and what I've been going through, and she understands. She's such an amazing person. I know she's gonna see this. I love you, Lisa. You are one of the best. That is my soul sister. That is my soul sister. So yeah, I really didn't want to tell my friends, hey, you know, this is what's going on. I'm still suffering from depression and anxiety and I don't know what's going on. And I definitely fell off my routine. I mean, I was still going to the gym, but I wasn't microdosing mushrooms anymore. And I wasn't eating healthy at all. Yeah, it was a slippery slope and I just didn't care. You know, I was just, misery loves company, but in my case, it was like, misery loves nobody. Like, I didn't want to be around anybody, you know. I've learned that when I get depressed, I isolate, and I isolate hard. And while I do like talking about my feelings and everything, and I wear my heart on my sleeve, and I just, when I'm sad, I just tend to isolate. I don't want to bother other people with how I'm feeling and my emotions. I don't want to be a burden. And when I'm sad, I definitely do not want to be around my friends because I feel like I'm a bummer bitch and I don't want them to be around me and like see me like that. And I don't want to be hanging out with them and bring down the vibe, you know, which is one of the things that I felt and was going through once I quit drinking. In my group of friends that I used to hang out with and party with a lot, you know, I just was so depressed in 2017, and once I quit drinking, I isolated so much, and I was like, fuck man, I don't want to be around anybody because I feel like I'm such a burden, and I don't talk to those people anymore. We're not really friends, you know, we're on different paths in life, and I wish them the best and I still care about them, but things change, people change, especially when you quit partying and you realize a lot. So yeah, I was really in a really dark place in December, and then I knew I just had to quit. So I quit December 15th, and oh boy, I did a bunch of research and I knew that I was probably going to have withdrawals because, like anything, I mean, if you drink coffee every single day and you quit, you're going to have a headache, you're going to experience withdrawals. And not everybody who takes Kratom is going to experience withdrawals. It depends how much you take and how long you've been taking it. And in my case, I was taking it for almost 2 years on the weekends, and then shortly after it went to every single day, and then it went to every single day, very, very heavy use. And I just knew it, because like I said, when I tried quitting in the summer, and that was horrible. It was so horrible because it was beautiful and sunny out and I didn't want to do anything because the withdrawals were pretty bad then, but this time they were really bad, and it's winter, so it's dark and depressing, cold and rainy, so I didn't really prepare myself too much. My fiance got black seed oil and ashwagandha, and I started developing right away the next day, body aches, flu-like symptoms for a couple days, and I could not sleep at all, restless leg syndrome and tossing and turning. It was horrible. I've never had a hard time sleeping before, and I was really struggling. It was horrible for the first week or two. And even smoking weed, eating edibles, nothing helped. Melatonin, nothing. And so even magnesium, I was taking magnesium too, and nothing was really helping. So I stuck with it. I was craving Kratom. I just wanted to feel better, and my anxiety was so bad, and I wanted it to go away, and I wanted to do it again. And I just kept telling myself why I quit in the first place, why I'm doing this. And so what helps me a lot was Reddit. I never got into it. They had forums about quitting Kratom, and for a second I thought I was losing my mind. I was like, why am I feeling this? What the fuck's going on? What is this? And there were so many people that are going through the same thing. The first week and a half, it was all physical, and God, it was fucking horrible. I'd go to the gym and I would do cardio and go in the sauna. I couldn't lift because I was just I felt so shitty. And that sucked because I love lifting at the gym. And so about 2.5, 3 weeks, body aches, everything went away. And then it was mental. Holy fucking shit. I never want to experience that again, because I was so depressed. My anxiety, oh, fuck, man. I've had anxiety before, when I was younger, thinking that my dad would die if I went to a sleepover or something, or that we'd get in a car crash, or that, our apartment would fall apart and lose everything I worked so hard for, and our cats would die. Oh, just horrible, horrible shit. And that really hasn't happened, but this anxiety was so bad. I was anxious to go to work because I was like, fuck, I don't want to talk to people. I don't want to deal with people. I just want to hide and crawl in a hole and just live there until this goes away. I'd wake up and just feel extreme dread. I wouldn't wish this upon anybody. So, like I said earlier, my heart really goes out to people who go through heroin, opioid withdrawals, because goddamn, Kratom is nothing compared to that. Holy shit. So yeah, that happened, and then I became super, super depressed and extremely suicidal. Not how I was back in August of 2017, right before I quit drinking, and the hopelessness feeling, but I knew that it was the Kratom, and I was the withdrawals and everything, and actually dealing with my emotions, because let's be real, if you watch my other videos, I just kind of went from one substance to another, and I was just coping with that. And I really thought I was losing my mind. I never thought I was going to be happy again. I thought everybody hated me and I'd be better off dead. And it was so bad. I literally didn't want to leave my bed. And not because I was so depressed, just because I just felt like there was cement in my body. I was like, fuck, dude, I don't want to go out. I don't want to do anything. It was really bad. I didn't have enough energy. I was really fatigued. So I was really struggling to go to the gym. Even though I would go, it would make me feel better, but at the same time, I'd feel so bleak and hopeless, and just really felt stuck. And that was really shitty. So that all happened. The holidays came and went, New Year's, and I was still suffering from withdrawals. And every single day, what really kept me going was just reading people's experience with it on Reddit, because there's some people that had it worse than I did. And I was just continuing to look on Reddit every day and reading people's stories and just going through each day, going through the motions. And then I started feeling better about 4 or 5 days ago. Yesterday was a whole month since I quit Kratom, And it was, I don't know if it was the high from being, hey, I'm clean from Kratom, from this thing that I was really into, that pretty much made me a zombie for almost 2 years because I was abusing it so hard. And I don't know if it was that, or if it's because my body is finally, you know, my brain is and my body are finally getting back to normal, because I just was taking so much that it probably, you know, messed some of my brain chemistry up. But it's not permanent, you know. It's a plant. So I started feeling really good yesterday, and I've been feeling really good today too. I am getting things done, you know. I've been going back to the gym every single day and getting back into my routine, eating healthy again, eating 2-3 meals a day, sleeping. I'm actually sleeping a whole night. It's definitely gotten better as time has gone by since I quit. So yeah, I, you know, actually have the energy to go grocery shopping. I don't dread leaving my house. I have energy now, and I'm getting back into my routine. I'm fucking stoked on life. I mean, I've said previously I've been happy, and I have been happy, you know, especially when we got Layla and all of last year. I've been happy, but I was also, you know, when my mind would start racing, or I'd want to drink, or I'd want to, you know, if I'd be going to do something, social activities, I would take that Kratom and then feel numb, still happy, but not, it would just, I got to the point where I'd be comfortably numb. And going back to Kratom is when I quit drinking. And at that time, I was so broken from losing so many friends to suicide that year. It was like 4 or 5 friends. And our cat dying, my ferret dying of old age. I was just fucking broken emotionally, mentally. I wanted to die. I wanted to die every fucking day for months. And I isolated so much, which is so horrible to do. And fuck, man, it was horrible. I wouldn't wish that upon anybody. So also, I was so broke because we spent $6,000 on our cat's surgery for cancer, who ended up passing away 6 months later. But we knew that was going to happen, but we wanted her to live the best life and not be in pain. And yeah, it was completely worth it. But I was so mentally unstable from the point of February, from losing one of my close friends to suicide, who lived, you know, right downstairs from us. It's fucked up and traumatizing, and it still fucks me up every single day, because every single day I have to walk past her apartment. It's gotten easier, and I just can't wait to move out of this apartment, because this apartment harbors so much darkness for me. And I know in order for me to heal and to move on, we need to move. Even though it's cheap, but I mean, you get what you pay for. Like, I was so mentally unstable from February up until November, when I got the job that I'm working at now. I went through 12 or 13 jobs because I was so mentally unstable. And I tried to quit drinking in April, from April to June of 2017. I was definitely white knuckling it. I didn't do anything. I didn't want to hang out with anybody, because all I wanted to do was drink, and I thought about doing it all the time. And I would just sit at home, and it sucked. And then when I actually quit drinking, oh, and mind you, going from job to job to job, I would only work there for about 2 or 3 weeks, if that, and then I'd quit and try to find another job because I wasn't happy. And I was just so fucking lost and so broken and so sad. And I didn't have any money, really. So for me, when I started taking Kratom in October, it made me okay with sitting at home and doing nothing, because I was already so depressed that I would convince myself that I didn't deserve to have fun, because I got myself in this money pit of not being stable enough to work at a job and make money. You know, I just convinced myself that I didn't deserve happiness. I didn't deserve to be around anybody, because I was such a burden, because I was so depressed and I was a bummer bitch. and I didn't deserve to do anything or have anything because it's my fault that it was my fault that I was at where I was because of my actions and my addiction to alcohol and me not being able to stay at a job because I would work there for a little bit and then I'd hate it and I would just freak out and get really bad anxiety. So I started taking Kratom, and it made me comfortable with doing nothing, just sitting on the couch and being comfortably numb. It made everything okay. I would start getting anxiety, I would take it, and it would just smooth sailing from there. Everything would just kind of melt away and I'd be okay with where I was at in my life. But it got to the point where I was just started taking more and more and abusing it. So that is my experience with Kratom. I am not here to tell you how horrible it is. I think it is amazing, but just like anything else, people need to use it medicinally. It's just like anything else. I feel like it just kind of got into this really dark place because I was just trying to mask those feelings of sadness and sorrow. And now I'm starting to learn to build up those barriers and know, to keep a distance from like negativity, negative people who bring me down, people who, just, I can't do it. So I'm starting to build my life up, and I know what I need to stay away from and what I need to do in order to keep me happy. And it sucks, but in some cases ignorance is bliss. It's like I want to turn my mind off from the news, and the news is fucked up, and just I won't even get started on that. But anyways, that is my experience with Kratom. Like I said, I mean, I know there's a lot of Kratom advocates out there, and I am all for it. I think it's great, but I just went from one thing to another. I'm not chasing for that next high. I just found it as a way to cope with my depression, and I found it at a really, really dark place in my time, and it helped me tremendously. But then it got to a point where I knew it no longer served me. And, that can go to say for a lot of things in our life, but self-awareness and what you're doing, it is so important. And I'm learning that. I'll be 30 this year, and I started this healing journey in 2017 when I was 27. And this year I want to go and do an ayahuasca ceremony with my best friend who I also did combo with last year. So it's constantly a journey, and Kratom was part of my journey to that, but it no longer serves me. I'm not sure if I'll ever take it again. How I felt with the withdrawals was terrifying, but then again, that's because I was taking so much, and I was taking it every single day for almost 2.5 years. So I can read my body very well now, and I love it. I love this body that I'm in now. That wasn't always the case. So it's a really good feeling. And yeah, I'm rambling as I always do, but anyways, yes, that is my experience with Kratom. I hope this helps people. I mean, I hope I didn't offend anybody. I'm not dissing it or anything. This is just my experience. Don't be like me. I'm getting back to my routine now. I'm actually really happy. And it was an experience, and I'm glad I experienced this. I mean, it makes me sad looking back on it, of like all the parties I missed, all the shows I missed, and like social events, because I was just either so fucked up and like zombified that I would like pass out on the couch, or I was so tired, or my anxiety would be so bad, because it got to a point where it wasn't really helping so much with my anxiety. It would just make me just want to do my routine that it's always made me do. Like when I first started taking it, just like sit on the couch and veg out and just watch documentaries and like true crime documentaries. I'm making daily steps to better my life, and I just know that I just want to be present in the moment, and I'm back on my routine of going to the gym, eating healthy, meal prepping, because it got to a point when I would take Kratom, I didn't want to do anything. I wanted to go out to eat all the time, and I'd still go to the gym, but I would just because I would take the reds all the time, the red vein of the Kratom, and I would just feel dopey. So, I don't know, and that makes sense because alcohol is a depressant, and I think that's maybe why I resonated with it so much, because it hit, and it did. I mean, it does help. It served its purpose. It has helped me tremendously. I think it was definitely one of the things to help me quit drinking big time and stay away from it, because it definitely scratches that itch for me to want to drink. But then as my emotions got kind of snowball effect and just getting depressed, I just found myself taking more and more and more. So I definitely know that when I am not on my routine, it makes me depressed, and then I spiral. So that's my experience with Kratom. I know this is a really long video, and I definitely tend to trail off, but yeah, I think it is an amazing plant, and it is very beneficial to so many people out there, and I am an advocate for it, but this is just my story, my experience with it. Don't be like me. But I'm thankful for everything I went through. So yeah, that's it. Take care, be well.